Hello, video. Welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I've been here in the Philippines for almost 6 years now. I have my YouTube channel for about 3, and I meet a lot of people, men from all over the world. And I just wanted to touch on a subject. It's a little difficult to talk about, but it's very important because a lot of guys just don't even think about this. Um, I want to talk about expats living in the Philippines, especially those of you who are considering retiring here and staying here in the Philippines. Um, who knows, maybe this video could buy you a few extra years of life. The question is, what are expats, foreigners here in the Philippines, what are they dying from? Because it's happening on a regular basis all around the Philippines. And as you know, the Philippines is a beautiful and welcoming country, attracting expats from all over the world. It's a vibrant culture, warm climate, relatively low cost of living. Makes it, it's a popular choice for retirees. And of course, digital nomads like me. There's more digital nomads here like every day. However, like anywhere in the world, life expectancy and health for expats, for older men, for seniors, depends on various factors. And if you understand these common health risks, it can help you be more prepared and maybe live a little bit longer. The number one cause of death here of seniors in the Philippines is cardiovascular disease, which I think is pretty true around the world. One of the leading causes of death for expats in the Philippines is heart attacks. As you may know, this has been my health issue. I had hypertension, I had heart attack, I had quadruple bypass surgery. And strokes and heart attacks are a common reason for expats here to pass away. I myself ended up in the emergency room here with a heart issue. I don't know to find out what it was. They said a heart event, but that was a couple of years ago. But many men come from countries with different dietary habits, which may include higher consumption of processed foods, more salt, unhealthy fats, which can increase their risk of heart disease. Additionally, stress levels, whether from adjusting to a new country, a new environment, managing their finances, that can lead to high blood pressure, something else I've had too, which is a major risk for strokes and heart attacks. It's crucial, to monitor your blood pressure regularly. I monitor my blood pressure every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. If it's okay, it's usually good, then I don't take any medication at all. And I found the longer I'm here, the less stress I have, the less medications I need. But you have to have the pressure, eat a regular diet, engage in regular physical activity. And on the bright side, many of my friends like me have told me that after they've been here in the Philippines for a while and things are going well for them, that their blood pressure goes down, that they're off all their medications, they're just doing much, much better. They don't even need medication. Like I was on like 6 medications when I had my first heart event here in the Philippines, and now I'm down to just 2. And so, it's much better. I feel better. And a lot of the guys I know that have come over here and taken care of themselves, they're getting better too. And you just have to really look after yourself. If you think you have heart disease, if you have heart disease in your family, you've had people in your family, father, brother, whoever had a stroke, heart attack, or whatever, you want to be very diligent about monitoring yourself here. Cancer is another one. Had several people I know die of cancer. Cancer is another significant cause of death among expats. In the Philippines, the disease affects both men and women, local population as well. And it's really common for them, including lung cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, and lifestyle factors are a very big part of the whole thing, such as smoking, heavy drinking, and poor diet can lead to likelihood of developing cancer. I meet new arrivals here all the time who brought their bad habits with them. They're sitting down, they're drinking all day long, they're heavy smokers, and they're just asking for problems, and eventually it's going to catch up with them. Many of the expats don't have easy access to regular screenings. And that's a problem too. Like if you live in the provinces, there may not be a hospital for, an hour away. There's usually a little clinic, but they can only do so much. And so if you're going to be living in places like that, you have to go out of your way to be checked on a regular basis to see how you're doing and get screenings. Early detection is, harder and harder to find, in the Philippines, especially if you don't go to the right hospital. I know expats who ignore their symptoms until it was too late. When that red light comes on the dashboard of your life, don't ignore it. It's essential to stay on top of preventative screenings, have access to healthcare facilities that offer early diagnostic services. And you may have to go to Manila, you may have to go to Cebu to get that. Depending on your state of health, you should settle in an area that has access to emergency services. Keep that in mind when you're looking for a place to retire. It's not just, does it have a view of the mountains? Is it on the beach? Are there no dogs or roosters? Is it convenient for you to get to a hospital in case you needed to? And we all need that, some people more than others. But if you think you're going to be one of those guys that is probably going to have to go to the hospital for minor treatment, maybe tests, whatever, in the next 6 months to a year, and you're moving to the Philippines, find a place that's got a hospital nearby. And there's some good hospitals here in Dumaguete. Like, we can be downtown in 20 minutes at several major hospitals, even better in Cebu, and even better, of course, in Manila. Another cause of death here in the Philippines among expats has been respiratory diseases. Given the tropical climate, respiratory diseases, particularly those related to air pollution, can be a significant concern here. Cities like Manila have high pollution levels, which can exacerbate conditions. Now here in Dumaguete, we don't really have that problem. Like right where I live, here on the beach, air is beautiful. Up in the mountains, it's beautiful. A little bit downtown, you find certain areas where the breeze from the ocean's blocked off, and you might get some pollution down there. But all in all, Negros Oriental, the air is pretty good here. But people have asthma, they have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, and other respiratory illnesses, especially expats who have pre-existing lung conditions and they have a history of smoking. They're more vulnerable to these diseases. And of course, you can stay indoors at this high pollution levels. You can use air purifiers and avoid excessive exposure to smog. That can all help reduce the risk. But for God's sake, if you're a smoker, you got to stop. You have a new life here in the Philippines, take advantage of it. Just, stop the smoking. And of course, number 4 is accidents and injuries. This I see all the time. Accidents are the leading cause of death for expats, especially road accidents and falls. The Philippines has a higher rate of traffic fatalities than most Western countries, particularly when you get outside of major cities. The roads in the provinces are always hazardous. Inexperienced expats who get on motorcycles with little or no experience are asking for trouble. Bicycles are even worse. And I see it all the time. If you haven't driven a motorcycle since you were a teenager and you're in your 60s, the last thing you want to do is come to the Philippines, buy yourself a motorbike, hop on it without any helmet, wearing a pair of flip-flops at night after having a couple of beers, and think everything's going to work out great, because it's not. I meet guys all the time who have had accidents. A lot of them, if they're lucky, they just got banged up, scraped up. Some of them have had their legs broken so bad they've had to have reconstructive surgery. Seen that many times. It's just one of those things that you really have to keep in mind if you're going to move to the Philippines. And you've got things like stray dogs. You've got rocks out in the middle of the roads. You've got the right lanes here, and off every road pretty much has people parked there. They'll leave their cars there. They'll leave tricycles there that have no lights on them in the right lane of a highway. And you're driving along, and you come up on it within seconds, you have an accident. And of course, drinking and driving is the worst thing you can do anywhere in the world. But I see expats staggering out of the bars, getting on their motorbike, no helmet, flip-flops, and off they go, weaving down the road. and so many of them are getting killed, and worst of all, they're hurting other people, driving recklessly. And because they know there's no police checkpoints here looking for drunk drivers, and they're not pulling people over and breathalyzing them here. I don't think the police have breathalyzers here. So a lot of these guys that maybe even had their license suspended while they were back in their home country come over here and they think it's, free for all and they can just do whatever they want, like it's the wild, wild west. And novice riders are simply risking their lives because they're unfamiliar with the local laws. They're unfamiliar with the Filipino style of driving. And the Filipinos, they think there's nothing wrong with passing you on the left, passing you on the right. You'll have maybe a foot between you and the car in front of you, and a Filipino will weave right in there with their motorbike. So you have to be cautious, and you have to really be switched on all the time. It's really, if you haven't ridden a motorcycle a long time, you don't have the experience, and plus you're older, I really think you're better off to get yourself a small car. And of course, falls are another thing. I know guys that have fallen and in their apartment and they couldn't get up and they basically died in there. I know two guys that have done that. I myself, just going to get the mail one day about 6 months ago, in the daytime, not at night, just going out to get the mail, walking down, across our gravel parking lot, caught my foot on a stone or something and fell down hard, bruised myself really bad, broke my foot. And, when you're older, simple things that a young person would bounce right up and not have a scratch on them. An older person, when you fall down, it can literally be a death sentence. And so you have to be really careful here. And because older people, they balance issues, and they break a lot easier, much easier than you did when you were younger. But if you're not an experienced, motorcycle rider, all I can say is you're better off to get a car. And one of my friends that I met when I first came here, and I bought my motorcycle, and he said, I thought he was joking. He said, well, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when you're going to have a wreck. I said, what are you supposed to mean? I've been riding motorcycles my whole life. I got lots of experience. I've ridden all over the country. I've ridden in bikes all over the world. He said, well, you'll see. It'll happen eventually. And of course, he was right. I've had several minor motorcycle accidents. One of them, though, was so bad, my whole side was all bruised up. My leg was messed up. I couldn't walk for several days. It took me about 4 months to overcome it. Fortunately, I had a helmet on. If I did not have a helmet on, I would not be sitting here today because I had a big dent in that helmet would have hit my head and killed me for sure. And guys that ride motorcycles over here and they don't wear a helmet or they're wearing flip-flops, I have no sympathy for you because if you fall off that bike and dog runs out in front of you, somebody walks out in front of you, and you have an accident, chances are you're going to get killed if you don't have a helmet on. Because over here, I saw it last night, guys out jogging on the freeway in the right lane wearing black clothes. You don't even see them, like invisible, out there running. Same thing with bicycle riders. They're over here riding their bikes at night, no lights, no reflective gear, and you don't even see them. And, you have an accident, you both get killed. But that's just one thing, you got to be careful over here if you're going to be riding motorcycles, riding motorbikes, and just go slow. That's the main thing is keep the speed down. Whatever you're comfortable at, drive a little bit slower than that. The other thing that's killed quite a few people over here, a couple guys that I know, infectious diseases. When I first came to the Philippines, all they talked about was dengue fever, dengue fever. Oh, be careful, dengue fever. And there was apparently four variations of dengue fever, just 4 strains of the virus. So you can only get it 4 times. But that's all they talked about. And then, of course, COVID came around. And once COVID hit, nobody talked about dengue. And they don't talk about dengue anymore at all. It's almost like it's a minor thing. It doesn't even exist anymore. But the Philippines, like many tropical countries, has a higher prevalence of certain infections, infectious diseases such as dengue, malaria, tuberculosis, and all these diseases are not as common among expats. They are among the locals. Now, I've never met anybody over here that's had malaria. When I was working on ships, they used to give us these pills to take, great big pills. They were supposed to keep from getting malaria. I think they had quinine in them, but they used to make me nauseous, so I quit taking them. But you're better off to just drink a gin and tonic if you're worried about getting malaria. But the risk still exists, especially for those living in the rural areas. It really depends on where you live. Like right here where we live, very few mosquitoes, even the rainy season like it is now. But where Jen's family lives, kind of in the jungle down a trail, lots of mosquitoes there, especially at sunset. And when I met her, she had mosquito bites all over her calves. Her brother actually got dengue many years ago, ended up in the hospital. But it kind of depends on where you live. And also being on the second floor, which I am, helps a lot too. So, just wear some mosquito repellent if you're in a place that's going to be a lot of mosquitoes. But I got bit more when I was in America than I did here. I found more mosquitoes in Kentucky than I find where I'm living right now. But dengue fever can be bad. It has high fever, joint pain, rashes, and it can be pretty painful to have. But you want to be in a safe, clean environment. So just kind of keep the risk of these diseases at a minimum. Also, if you get a cut, I knew a guy that got a little cut on his leg while he was out in the ocean. He ignored it, got infected, got sepsis, and almost died. Another guy I know did get an infection on his leg, ignored it, waited, finally went to the doctor, and it already turned septic and went into his leg, went into his blood, basically killed him. And infections here, when you're in the tropicals, in the tropic climate like this, infections can be really bad and spread really quickly. So you want to put some kind of alcohol, any kind of an open wound. And also, if you get bit by a dog or scratched by a dog or scratched by a cat, do not take it lightly. There is rabies in the Philippines. People have died of rabies in the Philippines. Tourists have died from being bitten by dogs in the Philippines. And so if you get bitten by a dog, scratched by a cat, don't take it lightly. They have bite centers here. Go there, get the shots, because if you get rabies, it's 100%, a death sentence. There's really no cure for it. Another thing, diseases that are killing older expats is diabetes and kidney disease. With the increasing prevalence of diabetes in the Philippines, especially among middle-aged expats, it's a chronic condition, and it also contributes to early death for a lot of men. Foreigners who are obese, they come over here, and they're already obese when they get here, and they don't do anything about it, and they just continue on with the same bad habits, and it just gets worse and worse. You're just taking a chance with your life. If you're going to be coming to the Philippines and starting your life all over again, take advantage of it to improve your health. Lose the weight, get into shape, stop smoking, cut down on the drinking. And I do meet a lot of men who come over here, and that's exactly what they do. They all of a sudden decide they've got a new lease on life, and they want to live longer, and they want to live healthier, and they start walking and working out and cut down the drinking, eating a healthy diet, and they turn their whole lives around. You wouldn't even recognize them a year after they got here. Yeah, but the local diet here in the Philippines has a lot of sugar in it, a lot of carbohydrates. And if you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're just going to sit around all day and watch movies or be on the internet, you're also, leading yourself into, bad complications. And it's so easy to just go for walks here and, manage your weight, get some exercise, go to the gym, whatever you can do to keep moving. And staying active is like the key to preventing and managing, diabetes, and of course, weight and diet. But, while the Philippines offers an incredible lifestyle for expats, there's health risks, and that's true with like anywhere you go, and you just cannot overlook them. Cardiovascular diseases, cancer, respiratory illnesses, accidents, infectious diseases, and diabetes-related, complications are all significant contributors to mortality among expats. So the key to mitigating all of these risks lies with you. You have to just, mind your P's and Q's, be careful what you're doing, use your common sense, have a healthy lifestyle. Don't drive fast, don't drive drunk, wear a helmet, wear sandals, all simple common sense things, but it makes a difference. I've had so many guys that I've known ended up in the hospital. So, well, Mark, I wish I would have listened to you about, wearing a helmet. I wish I wouldn't have worn these flip-flops because I lost 2 toes. I wish I would have, not gone out drinking and driving because I had an accident and now I'm in court and there's a big problem. So all these things. But we as expats, again, we're guests in this country. This isn't our country. And so you have to be on your best behavior. Take care of yourself. Um, we've talked about health insurance and things like that. You're kind of on your own here. We've talked about that before. If you end up in the hospital, you're going to have to pay probably in advance before they even treat you. So carry a credit card with you. It's got a good limit on it. They'll usually take a credit card. If you have PhilHealth, they'll accept you in the hospital, admit you with that. But you have to be prepared. If you're moving into a new area, find out where the nearest hospital is. Find out what their hours are. Find out what they need to begin treating you, what they ask for. It's all these things about preparing yourself. And then you can, once you have got everything figured out, and you know where you're going to live, you know where the hospital is, you've made some friends in the area, and you're changing your life, you can kind of settle in, enjoy your brand new life here in the Philippines. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're a subscriber, I do appreciate it. Share my videos with your friends. That helps a lot too. So anyway, if you got any suggestions on these talking head videos, shoot me an email. I'm always looking for interesting topics to talk about. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.